Hey guys, Omar Osman here. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. On this channel, I'm going to be doing book reviews, but not in the traditional way. I'll be doing 3 lessons that I've learned from a book in 3 minutes. Today, we're talking about How Will You Measure Your Life by Clayton Christensen. The basic premise of this book is why are we here and how do we know we're making a difference. He split the book up into 3 sections: career, relationships, and what he calls get out of jail free. Now in the first section about careers, he talks about why we take certain careers or why we go into a certain job. And one of the main traps that we fall into is taking a job for money. And he outlines the fact that money is actually a hygiene factor. So it's an environmental factor. It's like what kind of office you have, what kind of chair you sit in, these types of things. He puts money into that category. The problem that we have is that we'll take a job because of the salary, because of the money, and then our lifestyle expands to fill that type of income, and then we're stuck. We're trapped and we can't get out. So he says we should be looking for more meaningful indicators as to a job that we'll like. And for that, he identifies what meaningful work is. So meaningful work is to look at, do you agree with the vision? Do you agree with the mission? Are you doing work that challenges you? Are you doing work that makes you think, that makes you feel fulfilled? Look for that as the primary motivator. You can't ignore the hygiene factors, but make sure the underlying theme is something meaningful, something challenging, and then look at the money and the other things. In the second section, he talks about relationships. And in relationships, he talks specifically about high achievers. See, high achievers, they tend to do what brings them the most benefit with their immediate action. And so for a lot of people, that means that they end up sacrificing their relationships, specifically their family life. Because on a day-to-day basis, things seem okay. Things are going fine. There hasn't been a big catastrophe. But then eventually, after 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, things fall apart and it's hard to pinpoint exactly what happened. And he says you have to be sure to take care of your relationships, because at the end of your life, that's what you'll value the most, is your family and your friends. And so one tip that he gives that stood out to me was he said, have a setup, have a system in place that protects the balance of your relationships. For example, give your spouse veto power over your calendar. That's a very easy way to make sure that you keep your relationships and your career in the proper balance. In the third section, is called Get Out of Jail Free, but this section is about marginal and full thinking, and this is probably one of the biggest takeaways that people who have read this book have. He gives the example of Blockbuster and Netflix. When Netflix first started, they were challenging Blockbuster, and Blockbuster looked at it and they said, the margins that they're making, the money that they're making on these DVD rentals, is just not enough to entice us to do it. And if we were to do it and we were to double down on this business model, it would mean that we would put our physical stores out of business. So there's really no incentive for us to do this. We know how that story ended. Netflix ended up putting Blockbuster completely out of business. And so Christensen says that you have to have an agile mentality. That if we were starting from scratch, what would we do? And don't be afraid to go down that route. But he goes one step further. And that is that he applies this marginal and full thinking to our personal lives. And he says a lot of times we make decisions and we'll say things like, it's not going to hurt just this one time. Or I can do it one time. I can do it just this time, and there won't be any consequences. He says over time those add up and we don't realize how big the consequences are going to be. So even in your personal life, make sure that you have a full mentality, that you're paying attention to what you're doing, and you don't compromise on your values. Hope you enjoyed the video. We've got more book reviews coming. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks.